Right there when you need her. Hello, the YouTuber world. Hello, Benny. How are you, love?
Hi there. How are you, Sue?
I am very well.
Good.
We're going to be talking some energy today. You need some energy, some extra juice?
Always need it.
I need some extra juice. Boy, that moon last night had me. I don't know what it had me. Well,
Tell me
I
how
do
you
know what
noticed
it
it.
had me, but I've been crying.
Aw.
I'm just emotional for days, and then it just popped and I'm like all puffy, and I've been icy my eyes this morning.
Aw. Sometimes we have to go through that, right?
Oh, it's all a release. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are going to be talking energy today, and you guys have got to bear with me because we got to get her a link, because we did this and somehow somewhere the link that I gave her originally didn't work. Because I mean, seriously, look at that. Look at my eyes, Benny. I feel like I'm like squinting. Help me. Say no, Sue. You look absolutely beautiful. You're fine.
Really?
Yeah.
You look gorgeous.
Oh, thank
Come
you.
on.
A minute. All right, Gratitude Cafe, folks. I swear this is going to be a serious conversation. We have gotten, for the YouTubers, I'm going to show you the book. It's called The Energy Healing Bible. And Renu, she's going to be talking about the new accelerated release technique. What does that mean? Her latest book, how to apply all the tips and tools and apply it to your life, to your world, with the intention, of course, shedding old beliefs and ridding your energy body, the 3D body and the 5D body, of all said energies. It will be a new perspective, new thoughts, new ideas. And of course, as you guys all know, anything and everything that I bring to your attention and my attention, and if it resonates with you, it resonates with you. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Just take what does and leave the rest. We are streaming live on YouTube. If you guys don't, if you're hearing us on live radio, you can find us at YouTube at 11:50 a.m. That's all you got to do is just punch in 11:50 a.m. Excuse me. And then if you want the newsletter, so you can get a copy of the show, all you got to do is go to SueLundquist.com/newsletter. If you have, well, you know what? I'm launching that mini C2C. My team and I wanted to do it right before Mother's Day. And we're launching the C2C mini will be May 3rd. So you have a week to sign up. It's like all week with me, Monday through Friday, one-on-one coaching in like-minded tribe. It's like $45 or $44 or something like that. It's so worth it. So go to SueLundquist.com/C, the number 2 and the letter C. And let's shed some old beliefs and some old fears. Let's talk about your nervous system. Let's talk about the iceberg effect. We're going to do some neuroscience. We're going to do some self-regulating tools. We're going to have a big conversation about boundaries. That's going to be one of the biggest days, because we're going to be deep diving into boundaries and languaging a respectful, loving boundary. So not only are you nurturing yourself and being respectful to yourself, you're also nurturing and loving on the other person, showing them love and support at the same time as putting up your boundaries, which is super fun, super juicy. Okay, Benny, how am I going to do this? Am I going to just, hopefully, I'm guessing you don't have her on your side, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
can.
that popped up. I know, but I'm on my phone at the same time. I'm trying to do live radio. So I am going to, you know what, Benny? I know we're going to do something completely random, because I can't do all this at the same time. And I know we've got to get her on here. And I'm like trying to send her the Zoom link at the same time that I'm on live radio.
Okay.
So,
I have her on the phone, Sue. She's ready to go.
on the phone. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, not in Zoom. Oh my God.
No,
Why was I thinking?
I don't know.
For heaven's sakes.
I know. Let's go with it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I don't see her on the screen, so I'm like all confused. Okay.
I said we would just continue on with the phone call.
Phone thing.
There we go. That moon really kind of squared you a little bit. I know, made you a little squirrely.
Oh my goodness. I wanted
Renu,
to see
sometimes it
her.
just happens this way, right?
It does. Renu, welcome, love. How are you?
I am fantastic. Despite everything,
Yay!
I am doing awesome.
Yay! Well, I'm sorry, I was
So excited.
confused. What was that, love?
I am so excited.
I
Nothing-
know. Finally, we get to do this. It's taken us a couple months, and I apologize that, but we have to do a big shout out to Mr. Jeannot and a big love to him, and saying a thank you for getting us connected. Right?
Absolutely. He is such a dear, dear friend.
Oh, love that man. I met a bunch of great people when I was in Toronto, and he was one of them. So
Yeah.
let's talk about, you know what, I could totally go into your bio, but you know what, I'm going to just let you jump in and start talking about yourself so that the audience and myself can get to know who you are, how you got to, with a massive science background, number one, to now going and deep diving, not only 3D world, but also the 5D world and energy. Can we just jump in and have that conversation?
I love talking about myself, so I'm going to try and keep it as succinct as possible because it is kind of a long, twisty, turny tale. There's never anything that's too terribly straightforward. So yes, my background is science. I had a bachelor's in biochemistry, and I was a registered dietitian for about a dozen years there. And I was a complete skeptic, like as far as all this energy work and stuff goes. I thought, I honestly, swear, believed it was only for people who were delusional. Like, such a low opinion.
Right? Well, then I'm good with it. I'm delusional. I'm so okay with it.
Yeah. So luckily, I'm on the other side of it now. I have been enlightened. But yeah, so I just want to sort of set the stage where it came from. But the one thing I can say for myself is that while I didn't believe in energy healing, I was skeptical, but I was willing to be convinced. Like I was always open-minded.
Right.
So basically what happened is a few weird encounters with energy type stuff. My first one was something called muscle testing. Have you encountered muscle testing before?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah, that's wild.
I know. We're going to get into that whole conversation because I want to run through your book. There's a couple chapters in there I want to talk about, but let's noodle on your background because I think it's fascinating when you have a background of biochemistry and the whole, chemistry side, science side, and then here you are fully immersed in the energies, the frequencies of energy.
So we're going to cover that in a bit. Then,
yes.
But I did have these weird little encounters, and my science mind said, "What? That's not supposed to work. What's going on there? That doesn't jive with everything I know." And so, me being insanely curious and just wanting to know and understand, I did the deep dive. I started to just follow, like I said, muscle testing, like, why is that? What does that work? How does that work? And then from there, I got shown something else. Like, how does that work? But I would literally be shown how it works. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And I can do that? Oh my goodness, if I can do that, there must be something to this. And it just kind of followed from there. I just kept asking more questions and getting more answers. And then eventually I really fell into understanding a lot about the subconscious. And from there, I met up with a Reiki master who, again, I was super skeptical about Reiki, but she and I really hit it off. So I started working with her a bit, and then fast forward a while, we developed a healing modality. And fast forward a little bit more, we parted ways, and I just kept continuing and learning more and interacting with more energy healers, learning the science behind all the different types of energy healing, because every single one of them, there's some science behind it. And I was a sponge. And so I say my modality has gone through and shamelessly lifted all the key bits and pieces from every single other modality I could find and put them all together. So mine is like, I find it's comprehensive. It doesn't, I'm willing to be open to anything. So I don't shut anything out. And whenever I learn something new, if it can make its way in, then it becomes a part of it.
I love it. And I love that you brought in all the different modalities, and you can't see me. I think a commercial, what we'll do is we'll try and bring you on video, but what I'm doing is I'm holding up the book. And I love this conversation, and I love that you brought all the modalities in, because it's not one-stop shop, right? There's so many different modalities. And for me, and like Reiki, or using a pendulum, or face reading, or muscle testing, all of these different modalities, if lean into it and see what feels right to you. Don't you agree?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, I got to interrupt. I clicked your link, and it's the same one from before. It's not.
Okay, hang on. Don't worry about it. We'll just keep chatting.
We'll keep chatting.
Looking. Hang on. Okay, guys. So here's the link. Okay, I'm still looking so I can get that for you. So, audience, I know this sounds a little weird what we're doing, but what we're trying to do is get her on the Zoom and doing all this at the same time. But for those of you on the YouTube world, you'll see her image, and then you'll see me holding the book here. And it's called the Energy Healing Bible. It's introducing the accelerated release technique. So what is the accelerated release technique?
Okay, so it is, all right, we're going to backtrack a little bit to give the big picture. Now, I know you understand this, but for your audience, all of our issues, whatever they are, whatever challenges we're facing. So let's say, like, it could be an emotional issue, a mental issue like fears, phobias, anxieties, depression. It could be physical. It could be chronic pain. It could be a food allergy. It could be pretty much any challenge. If it's something, and we look at that aspect of our lives and we say, wow, I really wish that was different, you can bet it's a sure sign that your subconscious is trying to send you a message. Your subconscious, like all of our problems, are there for a reason. It's your subconscious trying to let you know that there's something unresolved that is stuck in your energy field, that needs to be healed, needs to be addressed and looked at. And what the accelerated release technique does is it is a tool to, number one, allow you to very, very quickly identify what is at the root of your issue, your problem, and then how to release and resolve it. And I use the analogy, our problems are kind of like the flashing light on our answering machine.
I love that.
Is because it's just trying to get our attention. It's just our subconscious is trying to say, hey, I've got a message for you. And if or when you listen to the message, then the flashing light on your machine stops. So your problem can go away too, because your subconscious no longer needs to signal you either.
That's a whole nother show, Renu. I love that conversation about the subconscious. I mean, seriously. And I'm sure you're familiar with Louise Hay and finding, yes, talk about trailblazing and what she brought to the energy modalities and the BODY, right? I love this conversation of 3D and 5D and healing the body with different modalities. And audience, you guys have heard me talk about this, whether it's energy healing the body, healing the energies around you, what that looks like. And again, it works. So why not give it a shot? If there's a modality that you can apply and foster and use in your life and it works, why not keep doing it? It was so funny. And Renu, you may understand this. My 3 daughters have grown up with me doing energy healing. And they'll come to me and go, Mom, fix my finger. It's broken. And I'm like, doesn't really work that way. I use a broken finger as just an example, but can we have that conversation about what that looks like from a real life practical conversation, 3D? And when people come up and say, well, can you heal this in me? I'm like, no, that's not what it is. I'm the facilitator. I'm going to hold the space and bring the energy in. It's not my job to make it work, it fixed. It's up to the divine energies. You want to have that conversation, Renu?
Well, it's funny. A lot of people, I use the same expression that I'm a facilitator. That's exactly what I do. But it's a little different because in my case, I actually do uncover what's stuck. So we find the life of that. So let's say there's something specific that happened in your past about something. We find it, we identify it, and then I have, and you'll notice in the very back of the book, there's all these resources. There's
yes.
of beliefs and emotions and other things that are potentially stuck. So I'll go, and it's all about connecting with the subconscious. So I use a pendulum. I don't know how many of your listeners know what a pendulum is, but I use a pendulum to connect with the other person's subconscious. And through that, the subconscious it guides me. It says, oh, well, you need to let go of this belief that says I'm not good enough. And this one that says that I don't belong here. And this emotion of anger and this and this and this. And using their various, there's a tool called transcendental dowsing, which actually shifts the energy. I say it's like my cosmic vacuum cleaner. Once you've identified it, you can just literally pull it out.
All right, Renu, vacuum me up, babe. Come on, vacuum me up.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so much fun.
Wow. Okay, guys, with that, we're going to tease you just a little bit. We're going to take a really quick commercial break. Normally we take it at the half hour, but we are going to bring Renu on via Zoom. We've got it all figured out. Thank you so much for your patience. To all of those in live radio, Sue Lundquist here with the Gratitude Cafe, and we are talking about the accelerated release technique and the energy healing Bible by Renu Arora right here. We'll be right back, you guys. Thank you.
All right. Well, Claire, Renu, I'll patch you in on the other line. So, okay.
You're going to let me in now.
Yep.
Yay!
Hi.
Now I can see you. I'm like, I wanted to engage and do this. Yeah. I was sitting here.
Oh my word.
Hi.
I've been like nervous all day long. I woke up so early this morning. I was sitting at my computer with the
we're all good. It's all good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sending you my personal YouTube. Anyways, and then of course
I don't know.
I'm trying to do live radio and this. And
oh, good. Hi, everybody. And we're live on YouTube.
Yeah. Hi, YouTube world. Welcome. So here, let's do this. Take a picture. I'm going to do it quick.
Mine too.
Oh, well, hang on. Why can't I take? Oh, try this again. Why am I not able to take a picture? What is it? Command or Control Alt? No.
I got function print screen.
No. Why am I not? I'm serious. The last few days for me have just been, okay, Control. What is it? Why can't I think what print is now?
Take a breath.
What is print on the laptop? Do you remember, Benny?
I don't use that feature. No, sorry.
Is it a Mac or what?
Mac.
Regular?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know Macs.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Command Shift 3. I just needed to take a breath. I'm serious. Before you got on,
We truly know what we're doing here. I swear.
Yeah, we really do.
We're professionals.
I know you do.
We are such professionals.
You're stalling in the first cycle. I'm like, what are you doing? Just go. Like, hello.
I'm like, what? On the phone? We don't do the phone.
How we used to do radio shows.
I know. Gosh. So sure.
Right. That's funny. All right, go back.
Okay. Yay! Live radio world, welcome back. Sue Lundquist here. We are on live radio and, of course, internationally on YouTube. We will be streaming via the podcast world later on within the next 24 hours. If you haven't signed up for that or given 4 or 5-star ratings, you should go and do that. Go to SueLundquist.com and just click the links. It's pretty easy. If you want a copy of this show, it's the same kind of thing. SueLundquist.com/newsletter. And of course, we have been goofing off. We finally got ourselves on YouTube. I know that we have been talking to Renu on the telephone, and Benny was teasing me. He's like, yeah, do you remember when we used to do radio via phone? And I'm like,
no one could really see you at all. Dude, that's what radio was.
I know.
But now.
And I know. And then I was sitting here all by myself and I'm like, Renu, I want you to come in the YouTube and play. So welcome, love. Hi.
Thank you.
Okay. So before we went on a break, we talked about your background, biochemistry, nutrition, all the science world, right? And absolutely no energy work, schmirk. No, I have no clue. Absolutely not. And now you have completely done a triple dive into the beloved energy world and facilitating and talking about your latest book, the Accelerated, the Energy Healing Bible, but also talking about the technique. Introducing the technique. Now, at the top of the hour, guys, we were talking about the different styles and different types of modalities. And Renu and I were having the conversation out of love for all of us, meaning when you go into this style of work, facilitating energy healing, where you can pluck it out, pull it out, move it out, swish it out, whatever adjective you want to use. This is a really, really great book for you to dive in to see what feels right to you. And that's what I was alluding to a minute ago. Renu and I were talking about that. It's not a one-stop shop fits all, right? It's different modalities, different feelings. So feel into it and see what feels right to you, and then hone in on that skill, and then maybe adapt little ones here and there as you go. There's no right or wrong. Just do it. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So where do we want to talk more about the different types? I mean, you can see I've dog-eared. I mean, I could totally jump into. Oh, we were talking a little bit about the subconscious, but I don't want to do a deep dive. I can't even talk a deep dive on that because that's sciencey and yummy, and the audience has heard me talk about that. So what I'd like to do is talk more about the different modalities that you have written about in the book so they understand. Can we do that?
Well,
a little bit.
The little bit on the modalities is it's honestly just explaining that there's lots and lots of other stuff out there. And
like on page,
how I have pulled from each of them. So I have, there are pieces of the accelerated release technique that are pulled from timeline therapy or from all the healing modalities. One of the things I explain is sometimes we have to remove negative. Sometimes there's negative. I say it's like a cloud. There's something just sort of in your field. And that's the stuff.
Yes.
But then there's other times where there's an absence. We need to remove the negative stuff, but sometimes we need to add the positive stuff. So, you know how I love the example. You know how a tuning fork works?
Yep.
Right? The fork is supposed to resonate at a certain frequency. When you make the noise, the fork starts to vibrate. But when it starts, it's not really vibrating very much. So it's kind of like you're the tuning fork and you're not really singing that nice, beautiful note. And that's when you bring in other positive frequencies. So that's when Reiki, that's a single frequency. Crystal therapies, each of those crystals is a different frequency depending on which color. Aromatherapy, those aromas, they all resonate at different frequencies, though they all work in their own way to ramp up something that your body is actually lacking, some positive frequency that's lacking. So part of the reason I go through talking about the various modalities is to say, you know what, there's a section where I ask, does a positive frequency, does a healing frequency need to come in? And there was a time I used to actually, I'd have a list. I'd be like, okay, yeah, we need one. Which one is it? Is it one of these? This, literally go through the list. And then somehow, somewhere, I realized I could just ask for the one. Whatever the one is, universe, just bring it on. So that's how that kind of developed.
And there's a trust and a faith in that, right? Because at first, and I know that's our monkey mind, it's our brain. And when I was first doing energy healing, I felt like, well, my brain needed an answer, needed a thing, needed something to, I don't even know the language, needed something. Is that the appropriate language? But our brains, it feels like we have to push harder or go to, make it look like we're doing some proof. Yeah, the proof.
Something tangible.
And it's get out of your own way. Just be there and allow the energy, the vibration, whatever it is coming through. And you talk about that on page, where is it? Page 79. I love this. See the graph? I'm sure you're familiar with that graph.
I know that. Yeah, that's what we thought. That's where the different planes are important, because not only do we vibrate at like we have, our energy goes through and around us. So it's not just inside us, it's outside us too. And we exist on so many different levels. We exist within the emotional frequencies, the mental frequencies, the spiritual, like they're all different frequencies. So like ART is really, really scientific, like boiled it down to not just what needs to be healed, but where. Like, where does the healing need to happen? Is it here? Is it over here? And depending on where it is, there's actually a different tool you need for it. So I've got different tools for the different areas. So there's stuff that's, I'll be honest, a lot of learning happened since I published this book.
Oh, I bet. Isn't that so true too? It's like, oh, okay, version 2 coming.
Yeah. So like, I'll give you a little example.
Yeah.
So, we've got so I said we've got the 4 etheric planes. So the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Those are the various planes. But then we've got the 2 realms. So we've got the spiritual realm, which is everything out here, and then the physical realm, which is where everything inside the body. So you got inside and outside, and then the planes which are going through, which is basically that picture. And I've discovered, I've discovered. So I will ask, and in this case, you actually ask your spirit guides, because your spirit guides know everything. You ask your spirit guides where, like, this problem, where is it rooted? Is it in this realm? Or is it in the spiritual realm? Is it in the physical realm? Okay, if there's nothing in here, then it's in here. And once you've narrowed down the realms, well, which plane am I in? And so there's things like, if it's in the physical plane, in the physical realm, you're hanging on to a karmic burden. You're hanging, like there's a karmic belief that you've been holding on for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. If it's, so karma exists there. If it is the spiritual realm in the physical plane, well, that's the spirit in the body. So that's the soul. So there's some soul healing that needs to happen there. So it actually, and so each of those, depending on where you are, there's actually a different strategy for how you heal it. Like, it's wild. It's really, really wild the way it's all sort of come about.
Different strategy on how you heal it.
Yeah. So I have different tools depending on where the problem is, like what the problem is, then where it's
in the energy body or realm
stuck.
Yeah.
And then you take it from there.
Oh, I'm like going through the book. I'm like, where else can we go? Audience, you guys have got to pick up this book. It's so juicy. The Energy Healing Bible. And Renu, we're talking about the accelerated release technique. And she goes through, and this is a really good reference book, you guys. And I'm sure number 2 is coming out, or version number 2.
Actually, before version number 2, I'm doing an online training, because it's easier to update online trainings than it is to put in a whole brand new book.
Oh, talk to me about that. What is the online training? Talk to me.
Online training is basically everything in the book, and then continue on. Anything that I can heal or help facilitate heal, because I know I don't heal. It's the angels.
And I want to
actually
remind me. I want to. Yeah.
They do the work. I just ask them.
Yes. And you know what? Before we talk about that workshop, let's have that conversation, because I've had that specific conversation with other colleagues within the energy realm about really having your awareness of the language that you're using. It's about facilitating energy healing. I am not an energy healer. And in my professional training, we are trained not to say that, because we're not. It's just legally too. We can't, we're not supposed to, we shouldn't be saying that, because we are not the healer. We are facilitating healing. Is there things that I'm
bad. I use the term energy healer because it's just easier.
I know it's easier, but however, we've, and other colleagues and I have had that conversation. And I know I've had Reiki, I've had the 111, the reconnection, and some other modalities, and all of those trainings have said you're not an energy healer. Make sure you don't use that language. And it's more about protecting yourself than anything else. But above and beyond that conversation, we're going to swipe left on that one. Yeah. Let's talk about, because this was a conversation and I always ask permission. I always ask the energy body. I always ask the soul. I always ask the animal, whatever it is, including myself, always ask permission. Can we have that conversation?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Juicy. It's way more complicated than I would have thought. So I have there's a process, and even that's expanded a little bit since the book. I call it establishing clarity. It's like literally 4 questions before I do anything. The question is, and clarity is it safe? Am I allowed? Like, does it, and when I'm saying, is it safe? And when I'm allowed, we come with a spiritual team. So you've got your spirit guides, you've got your guardian angels, you've got, and I don't know if people really realize this, but your ego is part of your spiritual team. It's not you. It's a helper. It's there to protect you, but it's not actually you. Your higher self is not you. You can have a chat with your higher self. You don't really chat with yourself. It's another being, but it's part of your team. So I have to ask everyone, group call, are we, like, is everybody on board with us doing this? Is it safe for us to do this? Clarity, like, are we going to get clear answers? Is somebody holding out on me where I'm going to get a weird answer? And then, are there any intentional interferences in the way? So that's when we have other spirits who might want to.
I saw that in your book too. You talked about that in your book.
So there's interferences, like other people, people from this lifetime, people from past lifetimes, or if you got a little bit of karma going on, and they're like, if they're interfering, sometimes they want an apology from you before you're allowed to go on, or they feel bad about something and they're kind of wanting to apologize and they need some forgiveness before you can go on. I've seen it all. Sometimes messages for you. So an interference or an influence, and that's where there's a piece of you that is being influenced by something, and it's saying, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready because of this thing that's upsetting me. So I have to go through this whole list of questions before I can say, all right, now let's find the event.
Now let's get started.
Now let's heal the event.
And then because there's a different frequency, there's a different energy, there's a different sense that and we were talking about the monkey mind earlier at the top of the hour, because Renu, I was in my home back when I lived in Washington. And I love telling this story because it's our self-doubt and our things that we do. I was in my kitchen tapping into my client. Mind you, he was he was in Dubai working on the oil fields way out. And I'm like, yeah, right. Really, who am I? I'm tapping in and doing what I need to do. 24 hours later, we have the recap phone call. I find out that he's an engineer from Canada working on the oil fields, one of the best energy facilitations he has ever had. He gave me a 2-page list of all this stuff that he felt and changed. And I'm like, because it's awesome and it's juicy, but that monkey mind of ours, again, get out of your own way and have that faith and trust and ask permission. It's so important. Can we have a conversation about, because I know this for me, and I know I spin out. So I would love to have some tips and tools about entanglement, the different energy, whether it's an entanglement of energy with a sibling, a child, a lover, a coworker. Can we talk about that? Because I know when I have spent an intense amount of time with somebody, I literally have to go ground myself, shake it off. I mean, do you have that too? Like,
me personally?
Yeah.
I'm pretty even keeled when there's because I've been doing this enough. And let's be honest, when I started doing this work, I had to, I practiced all the time. And the only one who was readily available was me.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of work on myself to detach and detangle and just be able to flow, to make things easy for myself. But 100%, those relationships with other people, those are cords.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it boils down to. And if you have, and this is you plural, anybody who's listening, if you have an uncomfortable relationship with somebody, okay, let me backtrack and explain what a cord is. So we have cords. Anyone whom you think about, anyone whom you have a relationship with, it creates a cord, an invisible cord connecting you to that other person. So these cords can be as thin or as fragile as spider webs or as thick as tree trunks, depending on the nature of the relationship. So Sue, I guarantee you got bazillions of cords from all of your listeners, all the people who love you, watch you, feel like they know you, they're sending cord, they think about you and there's something attaching to you, but they're minor. They're if you wanted to, you could just detach them all and it wouldn't be any difficulty.
I love that you say that, because I'll feel that and I'll be like, oh, love you too. Okay. Or, hey, you didn't mean that, but no, go away. Right.
Yeah. But that's it. And so, the more famous you are, the more people whose energy is trying to create a connection with you. And just because our thoughts are powerful, they create that runway, that energetic runway to the other person. But there are times when you have a relationship with somebody and there's that cord between you and that other person, and it gets damaged. And so now, a strong, healthy cord, that's a relationship which is strong and healthy. That's where the relationship, the energy flows nice and freely both ways. If there's something unhealthy about this cord, either it's a cord that needs to be healed, and that's when if you and you can imagine, you can literally close your eyes and think about that other person and think about the cord that's connecting to you, and you'll see it. You will see it. You will know the status of the cord in just a moment. You'll be able to see if it's frayed, if it's hanging on by a thread, if it's just sitting between the two of you and neither of you is connected. Like
Just kind of
like all of it. You'll see whether there's a detachment. And those are usually ones that need to be healed, or if it's strangling you.
No,
if
we don't want that.
if you feel like you're caught in vines or something like that, those are cords that need to be detached, because that's very much a one-way cord, and it's just draining your energy. So yeah, there's a process for which you can actually heal or detach a cord. And I've had super cool experiences with cords. Like I had one gentleman I was working with he was in Germany, and
you teach this in your workshop, right? I
I
want to make
teach
sure
this
we
in my
go
workshop.
back. So
100%
let's
in my
tell
workshop.
your Germany, and then we'll get you back to the
yeah.
workshop, because
So,
the audience is going, wait, how do I get the workshop?
So so he was saying, he's like, oh, my daughter, we're having such a hard time. We're not connecting. We're butting heads. Like, she's just gone to university, and just every time there's something wrong. And I said, okay, we're gonna take a look at this. And I was like, yeah, there's a cord going on here that needs some trouble. So he and I worked together, and all he had to do was visualize the cord. And he's like, yeah, it's looking better and better. And by the time we were done, he says, yeah, it looks strong. And then I saw him again a couple of weeks later, and he said, Renu, it's like night and day. There's love again. Like it's like we've just turned back the clock. Where it's such a beautiful relationship now. I'm like, oh. But it's like the power in being able to do that. You don't actually need the other person to be able to heal the relationship with the other person.
Right.
You heal the problem that was between you. Yeah.
What about, can we have, because I've had this conversation too, when you meet somebody and you're like, you've never met them in the 3D world before. Hang on, you know where I'm going with this.
100%.
But you're like, you sit down and you're like, oh my God, where have you been? We got some time. We got some catching up to do. Like, you have known them for centuries.
Yep.
Like, can we have that conversation?
Yeah. There's those ones, and there's the ones where you immediately like, you're like, oh, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, I've never met this person. Why do I hate them instantaneously?
Yeah. Or that it's different energy, and you're like, nope, thank you. Let's go to the good feeling stuff. Can we please?
Yeah. But there's both, because we're part of a soul tribe.
Yeah.
Right. And I use spirit guides in this thing too, because spirit guides are wild. Spirit guides are really wild. You have one job here on earth, like literally one job. It's to learn. Like, it's to have experiences, learn, grow. It's about your soul's journey. You're going to live, you're going to die. Everything in between is learning. So on earth, you have to have experiences in order to learn. So you have to have positive experiences, negative experiences. Like, how do you learn about, so like, we want to learn everything: happiness, sadness, guilt, forgiveness, what's up, what's down, like everything. You can't learn about happiness unless you experience sadness. You can't learn about forgiveness unless somebody wrongs you. You can't learn about guilt unless you wrong somebody else. So you can't learn in a vacuum.
Yeah.
You have to do it with other people. So we have a tribe. We have, I don't know what the number is, maybe a couple of hundred, maybe it's 1,000. I don't know how many people are in your tribe, but you cycle through and you come to earth together. And I kind of use the analogy of, it's like being in an acting troupe, and every time you come to earth, you've got a new role, you've got new interactions, and then the next time you're going to do it, you're going to do something else. But if you didn't clear all the karma between you, like if you had a bad relationship with somebody in this lifetime, well, that's going to carry into your next lifetime. And now there's this weird issue between the two of you going into the next one. Or like the positive one, you had your best friend, you're like somebody super duper close to you, romantic party, had a partner, he had a fantastic relationship. And then the next lifetime, it's like, where have you been? We've known each other forever, because he kind of
Yes. Yeah. And I just recently, I've had quite a few of these, but just recently had this. And when this person would tell me his name, I'm like, that's not the name that I have known for centuries. And then I could feel the different roles that we had been playing, male, female, whatever that looked like. And it was I'm like, I mean, it was crazy, super, super crazy connection. But yeah, but I love that kind of conversation in the audience. And I've talked about this with my other clients and people that, you know, oh my God, what do you do when you have a soul's contract and that massive connection? I'm like, honor it, go for it, you know, breathe into it, regardless of what it looks like. And the conversation around life and coming to different lives, I use the word opportunity a lot. I said this, instead of I'm scared, this is fear, this is XYZ, or this is happy, or it's not, it's an opportunity to learn. And you first started off the radio show today talking about just that this is all a big learning. We're here to just learn, right? So have another thing. I love this because it's the CCs in life, compassionate curiosity for yourself and others. It's the CCs. Okay. So we've got a few more minutes. And for those of you listening on the radio, going to Podcast World, and also live right here on Zoom, I want to remind all of you that Renu is going to be doing a workshop exactly about this book, The Energy Healing Bible, which is super good. I love that.
So let me explain I use the term workshop. So it's an online training for that. Okay. I am doing a workshop, and I will like the formal online training is going to be launching on May 14th. May 14th.
Okay.
That's when it's going to be open to the public. Before that, I am doing a workshop in advance, getting to know people, all that kind of stuff, you know.
Right.
And people who want to know me and get to know a little bit more like this kind of
like
stuff.
Like the mini camp, like a mini kind of.
To be able to get to know whether this is something that they might be interested in. I am doing a How to Heal from Your Past workshop. So that's going to be 5 days. It's 45 minutes, like it's 1 p.m. Eastern. And they can join that at, so May 10th to May 14th.
Okay.
1 p.m. Eastern. They can join that by finding my Heal from Your Past Facebook group.
Okay.
That's where it's all the magic, all the fun is going to be happening there. So if they find that group, then they can find all the details.
Okay, make sure that you send me that so I can post it with the YouTube and all that.
Totally send you that.
Yeah, we got to get you promoted, sister.
So that's how that's going to work. If they want to find like in time, once I get like it's not up yet. Like I said, it's all getting ready to be pushed live.
Yeah.
But my acceleratedreleasetechnique.org website is where my online trainings are going to be hosted. So
yay!
They'll be able to find everything there.
Fantastic. Okay, so May 10th through the 14th, 1 p.m. Eastern. That's the Facebook group, right?
That's the Facebook group, and I'm going to literally show how do you connect your problem to your past? Like, how do you find a life event? How do you let a life event go? That kind of stuff. I'm going to teach people how do they find the stuff that's rattling around in their past that needs to be resolved.
Let's cut those
cords. Talk about muscle testing. I'm going to talk about pendulums. I'm going to talk about how do you use the resources to, like, how do you ask the right questions? And then
juicy.
It's gonna be fun. I am so looking forward to this.
Oh, I bet. I mean, I live in this work 24/7, but being able to do this, I hands down love it because it's the tribe and we can have this beautiful conversation and And the audience knows this. It's take what resonates and leave the rest, right? It's a new you, new perspective, new thoughts, new ideas. And I'm loving on you, all of you, whether it's Renu. I feel like I'm a poet. I just kept going, you. You guys have got to get this book, The Energy Healing Bible. And also Renu's talking about the accelerated release technique, among many other modalities that are in the book. And it's important that you understand the different modalities so you can lean into it and see what feels right to you. And just knowing that there's other tips, tools, and trades that you can put in your toolbox. It's a toolbox of everything, right?
Absolutely.
And why not? Online training, she's got the big one, May 14th. That will be open to the public on May 14th. She's got an online workshop where she's going to go through, it's going to be kind of like a get to know you, get to know me, get to know my style of teaching workshop. And that is going to be on the Facebook group. And I will make sure that I get all that information and links for you. So when we post it on social media, you guys will have that information. And that is the how-tos. And that will start May 10th through the 14th. Again, that's the Facebook group. And Renu's going to be walking you through tips and tools and how to do some of this healing, correct?
Yeah.
Yay! So fun. Well, we've got about 3 more minutes. Where intuitively would you like to go with this beautiful little gem and end the show?
Well, I had one other offer for anybody who wanted it. So a copy, I'm kind of like, try before you buy. If you're not sure you want the book, I have put an offer for anybody who wants a copy, a PDF copy of the Energy Healing Bible. They can get it at theenergyhealingbible.com. So
wow.
So it's a PDF. If you want to actually, like, you look over it, decide if you like it, and if you want the physical copy or the Kindle or whatever, you can buy it anywhere, like wherever books are sold, so online. And so then you can go get the Kindle or the Kobo or whatever after that, or
the Kindle or the what Bo?
Kobo. Oh, is that a Canadian thing?
Yeah, it must be, because I'm like a what?
Our big bookstores are Chapters and Indigo. And I think
okay, I don't know what a Kobo is, but all my Canadians, my Canucks, I love you babies, because we got a lot of Canadians that tune in and listen as well. Though I'm sure I'm going to get some emails. They're going to be pinging me laughing. I know it. I already know it's going to be happening. All right, we have covered quite a bit, Renu, and the Energy Healing Bible. You can get the book anywhere. You can get the PDF by going to theenergyhealingbible.com.
Yes.
Did I hit it correctly? Yeah.
The energy. Don't forget the.
The part. And she's got some online training you'll be launching to the public on May 14th. And the workshop, that's the get to know you, but you're going to learn some really good juicy stuff. That's May 10th through the 14th. That's 1 p.m. Eastern time. That is a Facebook group. I will get that link to all of you. The Energy Healing Bible and introducing the accelerated release technique. Renu, it's been an absolute blessing having you here. And I wish you all the great success. And please do not hesitate to reach out again, and we can play when book number 2 comes out or something. All right, you guys.
That would be awesome.
Yes. All right, you guys. I will see you all next week. And remember to go to SueLundquist.com/C2C. And I'd love to see you on my mini course. And for all the other information with the podcasts and the live shows, the YouTubes, all of that, just go to SueLundquist.com.